Door de recente gebeurtenissen in Parijs en de associatie tussen ISIS en de islam ligt het islamitische geloof steeds vaker onder vuur. Zo worden moslims ervan beschuldigd dat hun geloof niet aansluit op onze westerse idealen. Maar hoe zit het dan eigenlijk met het christendom? Het geloof waarop onze cultuur grotendeels gebouwd is.
Een vrouw moet zich laten onderwijzen in stilheid, in alle onderdanigheid.
Volgens dit hele boek is de vrouw in principe onderdanig.
Voor dit experiment hebben we een Bijbel gekocht en deze omgetoverd tot een Koran. Hierin hebben we schokkende passages gehighlight die sterk in contrast staan met onze westerse normen en waarden. Eens kijken wat er gebeurt als we de citaten uit de Bijbel voorleggen aan de mensen op straat, maar ze in een veronderstelling laten dat ze uit de Koran komen.
Als u mijn verordeningen verwerpt en als uw ziel van mijn bepalingen walgt, u zult dan het vlees van uw eigen zonen eten en het vlees van uw eigen dochters zult u eten. Want ik sta niet toe dat een vrouw onderwijs geeft. Dan moet u haar hand afhakken. Laat uw oog haar niet ontzien. Wanneer een man met een andere man slaapt, zij moeten zeker tot de dood gebracht worden.
Wat is jullie eerste reactie?
Klinkt echt belachelijk.
Nou, ik wist eigenlijk helemaal niet dat dit ook erin stond.
Hoe kan je hierin geloven? Ongelooflijk vind ik dat eigenlijk.
Handen afhakken en zo, ja, zo zijn zij blijkbaar, maar
Als je vanaf je geboorte al zo wordt opgevoed met zulke gedachten, dan ga je toch op een bepaalde manier denken.
Dit komt over alsof ze weer willen onderdrukken en willen onderwerpen aan hun geloof.
Die vrouw wil helpen en als dank wordt de hand afgehakt, dus
Ja, zo is het.
ja,
Dat is niet goed, hè?
nee.
Als je dit nou naast de Bijbel zou zetten, wat zijn dan voor jou de grootste verschillen?
Ik vind de Koran, zeg maar, als ik dit zo hoor, die vind ik iets agressiever met hak de hand eraf.
Ik denk dat de Bijbel toch ook positieve dingen heeft.
Ze vertellen het anders in ieder geval.
Het grootste verschil is toch wel hier, wat hier ook expliciet blijkt uit veel meer de rol van de vrouw.
In de Bijbel staat er iets minder hard erop, gewoon iets vredeachtiger.
ja, de wereld verandert en ik vind dat ze toch wel een beetje daarmee mee moeten gaan.
De meeste mensen van ons hebben gewoon vrijheid van keuze en vrijheid van meningsuiting gehad.
Ja.
En daardoor ga je op een andere manier denken.
Ik vind het erg dat wat ooit opgeschreven is, men als de waarheid ziet.
Maar zou je dit boek dan niet gewoon weg kunnen laten?
Nou ja, het is al heel oud, hè, dus het hoort er een beetje bij, ja.
Nou, dan hebben we een kleine verrassing voor jou. Want deze prachtige zinnen uit de Koran, die kwamen gewoon rustig uit de Bijbel.
What the fuck? Serieus?
Ja, wat de hel.
Zo, dat had ik niet gedacht.
Nee?
Dat had ik echt niet gedacht, nee.
Te mooi voor woorden. Dit is echt ziek. Dit is echt ziek.
Meen je dat?
Het heeft me heel goed gedaan. Niet verward.
Ja, nee?
Het zijn alleen maar vooroordelen. En ik zeg altijd van, je moet niet vooroordelen, maar zelf doe ik het ook alleen maar. En het is iets wat je niet bewust doet.
Het heeft alles met de media te maken natuurlijk.
Ik blijf er gewoon bij, blijf gewoon rationeel nadenken.
Ja.
Kijk gewoon wat een beetje logisch is en doe er je voordeel mee.
Natuurlijk heb ik vroeger ook bijbelverhalen gehoord en ik heb zelf op christelijke school gezeten. Maar nee, ik had niet verwacht dat dit erin stond. Nee.
Vond je nou een interessante video? Vergeet hem niet te liken en te delen.
En heb je nou een mening over dit onderwerp, reageer dan hieronder even op de video.
Tot de volgende keer.
I want to apologize for my poor English. My name is Arnoud van Doorn. I'm 47 years old. I come from I'm Dutch. I'm born in the Netherlands and I'm raised in the Netherlands. I come from a Christian background. I was raised as a Christian with all the norms and values that come with it. And a lot of people say, I think it's hard to convert from a Christian to Islam. I don't think that's the case, because if you are a Christian, we share only one God, we recognize the prophets, and if you call them Jesus or Isa, you know, we are all from the same book of Abraham. So for me, the step from a Christian to a Muslim is not that big. I think it's much more complicated if you're an atheist or a non-believer and then you become a Muslim. How did I become a member of the PVV from Geert Wilders? That's a question that a lot of people are asking me. I never was an Islamophobe. I was really critical about Islam. I had all the prejudice feelings that a lot of people in the Netherlands and the West have, like Islam is violent, it's oppressing women, they're all terrorists, and all this, you know, rather dumb ideas about Islam. It's ignorance, but that is not an excuse. It's not an excuse for other people, it's not an excuse for me. But I was already a member of the Hague City Council for a local party. So I was familiar with the political structure, with the political work. I had some media training, but I had some experience, and Geert Wilders asked me, well, do you want to help me building a party? And that was about a year or 5-6 years ago, and I thought, well, yes, that might be interesting. So I said yes, I would like to do that. So I became a member of the PVV. And well, I was responsible for example, public relations in the way of how to influence the people, how to influence media, and I was also writing speeches for Geert Wilders. After the elections 3 years ago, a member of the Hague City Council for the PVV of Geert Wilders, and well, so I had to quit my original job, so I was completely into the work of Geert Wilders for 60, 70 hours a week. Why Islamophobia? Why did it grow so much, and why is it growing so much in the Western countries, especially in the Netherlands? I'm not sure about it, but I think there are several reasons. We have the crisis, and people are well. We know that from the history that it's very easy to create scapegoats, and in this case, I think the Muslim community in the Netherlands is the scapegoat for the crisis, and they say everything is because of them. We have a lot of crime. It's also because of them. It's because of Islam. Islam is evil, and well. Even politicians and media are using these feelings to create, well, they want to create an enemy, and they are succeeding in it. How did I become from a very critical person, very critical about Islam, to convert to Islam? I was within the PVV for maybe 3 years, and then I was having some doubts. People are talking to me, Muslims, and they said, well, you're wrong about Islam, you're wrong about these ideas. Actually, it's a very peaceful religion, it's a very wise religion, and I thought, yeah, right, of course, you're supposed to say that, but it's not the truth. But still, something inside of me was like, this is not good, something is wrong. I want to know more about this, if it's really that evil. And I started to read not only the things what I was supposed to read, that's the propaganda from the PVV, but I was reading for myself, and I started to read the Qur'an. I was reading about Sunnah, about Hadith, and I thought, there are so many wise and beautiful things in all this information, so it can't be really that bad. And I was getting more and more curious about Islam. And finally, a colleague of mine in The Hague City Council, he's also a Muslim, he invited me to come to the mosque in The Hague. And I thought, oh no, I don't want to go to a mosque because it's dangerous and it's so violent and they want to attack me and ridiculous ideas, of course. But he convinced me to come with him, and I've been to the mosque, and I was really surprised. I thought they probably hate me, but they were very friendly. I've really felt welcome right away, and I was invited, and we had a long conversation. I think I arrived in the morning, about 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe 12, and I've been there till 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. So that was not what I've expected. I thought, we have a short conversation, and I will see that I'm right about Islam, and they're all, evil people, and then I'll leave, and I think, okay, I was wrong. But something happened. Something inside, it's hard to explain, said to me, this is actually a wise religion, this is a beautiful religion, this is very peaceful. When I was in the mosque, I really had a warm feeling. And I didn't surprise it, and I was a bit confused. And later today, in the evening, I went home, and my head was full of information, and a lot of doubts, and I was really confused. I didn't sleep for a night. And then the next morning, I thought, I have to go back. And I went back to the mosque, and we had another conversation. And then I was starting to read, and to learn, and to speak with a lot of scholars and other Muslims. And during this process, it would have taken maybe 6, 7 months. I thought, I started out of curiosity, but in the end I thought, it's not only curiosity, this is something beautiful, it's something that fits me. And that was really something I didn't expect to happen. But it did. After 2 months, I quit the PVV, the party of Geert Wilders, and said, this is not my place, I'm not supposed to be here. What I've done was wrong. And I quit. The more I was reading about Islam, the more I was studying Islam, the more I was talking with other Muslims, the more it felt like, this is me. And that ended in the Shahada. A very emotional moment in the mosque in The Hague. I was there alone with only the Imam. And I was really emotional. I actually had some tears. And from that moment, I was a Muslim. Well, thank you. And if it's about Islam, I have to learn a lot. I have to read a lot, and I have to study a lot, at least 10, 20 years, maybe longer. If you study Islam, you have to study until you die. There's no end. I know that. I don't know that much about Islam, but I know it's good. I know it's wise. I know it's a very peaceful, and it has solutions for everybody and for all situations, for any person. There are no exceptions. And from that moment, I thought, I have to do something with this. I'm not alone. There are in the Netherlands there are almost 2 million Muslims. We have 17 million people living in the Netherlands. 2 million of them are Muslims, and there are more and more people converting to Islam, and that's really a good thing. So they are losing the war on Islam. I'm sure. Only this year we have 20% more people that are converting to Islam than in the entire year 2012. And almost all of them are young people. Most of them are below the age of 25. And that's why I think we have to reach out to the young people, to the youth, because they are the future. They are the future. A lot of people of my generation and older, their mind is too polluted with wrong information by media, by politicians. I consider them a lost generation. And I think we should not put too much effort into them to try them to convert, to try them to get knowledge about the real Islam. But I think we have to reach out to the youth. A lot of young people are really interested in Islam because they hear so many information and everybody's telling them it's wrong, it's evil. But the funny thing is, because it's an issue and tell you what is wrong and right, then you want to know it for yourself and you want to find out for yourself. Despite all the efforts of media and a lot of politicians, they are not winning. Islam is too strong. It's too strong. I have learned within the PVV of Geert Wilders, I learned all these skills, you know, about media, how to influence people, public relations, and they really hate me for this, because now I'm using all this information on the opposite, of course. I'm not a very important person, it's not about me. I'm just a humble instrument in the hands of Allah. But still, I think if I can tell my story to people like you, to other people, to non-Muslims, to young people, and to other people, I hope and I think that we can bring the message about the true Islam